My name is Dr. Fumi Aino, and I welcome you all to today's session of Wellness Wednesday. This session is brought to us courtesy the Green Mondays. The Green Mondays is a company that has a mission to inspire, connect, and empower everyone to achieve their dreams. And part of that is pursuing health as well. Now, I'm not the person who is going to speak today. I'll be introducing her shortly. But like I said, the Green Mondays has made this possible. And in Green Mondays, I'm a 3-star manager, a trade partner, and a stockist, and a VIP member. And it's my pleasure to be the host of this session. Now, to talk to us today is Dr. Gloria Ben-Oko. Dr. Gloria Ben-Oko works with Dr. Connect, and she is passionate about prevention of health at the community level. Let's give a rousing, a warm welcome to Dr. Gloria Ben-Oko, who is going to be facilitating this evening's presentation, and she'll tell you more about what she's going to talk about. So, hello, Dr. Oko, over to you. Thank you for being here.
Okay, hello everyone, good evening. I hope we've had a wonderful day so far. So like the host has introduced me, I'm Dr. Ben-Oko with Dr. Connect. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, so the topic for today's Wellness Wednesday is, as shown, how to avoid the #1 cause of stroke and heart attacks. So I want to believe that this is not the very first time that we are hearing of stroke or heart attack. I'm sure you must have heard of it sometime, either in the radio, in the TV, on some movies. So I will start the presentation now. The aim of this presentation is just to let us know the #1 cause and how we can engage in some lifestyle practices that will then reduce our risk of having these cardiovascular diseases. So I would start now. Okay, so we all know that cardiovascular disease are the leading cause of death globally. So it's not just a Nigeria problem, it's a worldwide problem. And so when we talk about cardiovascular, we're talking about the heart, we're talking about the blood vessels. And it was also estimated that around 17.9 million people died from this cardiovascular disease in 2019. And when this is compared to the total number of deaths globally, cardiovascular disease consisted about 32% of the global deaths. And out of these 32% of the global deaths, it was also found that 85% were due to stroke and heart attack. And then 3/4 of these deaths took place in low and middle income countries like Nigeria. So I'm sure you'll be wondering why Nigeria. So in Nigeria today, there is no global primary health care screening program that covers for checking risk factors such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol level, and the likes. And that is why what we've seen so far is that most people then come up with this cardiovascular disease at the intervention stage. And we all know that prevention is literally better than cure. And so at the intervention stage, there are already complications, and then coupled with the burden on the health facilities, this might not be thoroughly managed. And so just a brief anatomy on what arteries are. I'm sure that either majority of us here would have had our blood sample taken before, either when we were young, either you want to do a genotype test or a blood group test, or when we were pregnant and then you needed to take some blood sample to check for some viral markers. And so the way this blood sample is taken through the veins. And just as we have veins, we also have the arteries. So the arteries are blood vessels. They transport oxygen-rich blood from the heart to the tissues and to the rest of the body. And so it can be likened as a muscular tube and has 3 layers. I don't know if you can see my cursor. So this is the innermost layer called the intima, where my cursor is. And this intima is lined by a smooth tissue called the endothelium. Aside that, the middle of this artery is what we call the media, that's the middle layer. And then the outer layer, we just call it the adventitious. So this adventitia connects the artery to nearby tissue, while this medial layer handles high pressure from the heart. So like I said, the heart pumps blood, and then the pressure at which it pumps the blood is very high. And that is why this middle layer is important. So we'll talk about this as we go on in the presentation. So what causes cardiovascular diseases? So the one simple answer is blocked arteries. And really that is what this presentation is all about, blocked arteries. So blocked arteries are like the #1 leading cause of stroke, heart attack, as we'll find out along the presentation. So if you look at this diagram here, this is what a healthy artery looks like. So you can see the blood flowing smoothly. There is low risk of heart disease. If you compare it with the second picture, partially blocked arteries, you can see the plaques, and then we can see that there's a reduction in the diameter where the blood has to pass through. And so this artery is narrowed by a condition we call atherosclerosis, and I would explain further as we go on. And in this partially blocked artery, you can see there's an increased health risk. And so let's look at the third picture, blocked arteries. You can see that there's a buildup of plaque, and the plaque is lining the inner wall of the arteries. So this buildup of plaque prevents blood from flowing, and as we all know that the blood carries oxygen, carries nutrients. And so if this does not get to where it is intended to, there will be complications later on. And so atherosclerosis, in short, what we just really call narrowed arteries. And so we can liken the arteries to our pipes at home. So you can imagine you have a pipe that contains water, and then if there's a dirt that's occluding a particular portion of that pipe, water will not be able to flow through that pipe. And that is just a very similar scenario to what we call atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is a condition where the arteries become clogged or narrowed due to accumulation of plaques. And so if you've ever been to the dentist before, I'm sure you would have heard of dental plaques. So this is quite different. Dental plaques are just a biofilm of bacteria, and then you might need to take it off by doing irregular scaling and polishing. But what this plaque implies is made up of fats. Look at the picture just beside us. You see lipids, calcium, cellular debris. And so these are what the plaques are made of. And then these plaques then occlude the artery, as we can see in the picture beside it. So this deposition of fat can begin as early as in childhood. So it literally starts as early as childhood, and then slowly it then progresses. And so because it takes decades really before you can even see any symptom at all. So that is why it's one of the things that are easily overlooked, because you usually don't get to see symptoms until the plaques then occlude the blood vessel, that is the artery, and then causes complications later on. So what are the things that can increase your risk of having blocked arteries? What can make you susceptible to developing blocked arteries? Then the blocked arteries then cause further complication. And so they can be broken down into different categories. And so we have the modifiable risk factors. And what do I mean by modifiable risk factors? I mean the risk factors that you can work on. And so that is why I said changeable risk factors. And some of them are smoking, physical inactivity, that's living a sedentary lifestyle. You're always seated, when you wake up in the morning, you enter an AC car, you get to your office, you are seated throughout the day. You do not even take few seconds or few minutes, to just move around. And so the next risk factor will be obesity, unhealthy diet, high salt intake, and excess alcohol. And so these are lifestyle changes that we can work on. So we also have the manageable risk factors. And what do I mean by manageable? Manageable means that it can be controlled by diet, it can be controlled by drugs. And some of this includes high blood pressure, high cholesterol level, high blood pressure. And so the thing about cholesterol is there are two types of cholesterol. We have the bad cholesterol and the good cholesterol. So unchangeable risk factors, these are basically, we have no control over it. I mean, every one of us here would definitely want to go old. And so with increasing age, there are certain diseases that are seen. And then family history of stroke or heart disease. So you're looking at your first person relative, either your sibling, your parents. I mean, if a cardiovascular event should occur, there's literally nothing we can do to change it. What we can do is to work on ourselves to prevent us from becoming one of such statistics. And so, how do we know that, oh, there's something wrong with my artery? I need to start paying more attention. Like I said earlier, at the initial stage, there are no symptoms. And then the symptoms you see depends on what part of the body, the symptoms you see depends on what part of the body the blocked artery is supplying. Sorry, can you all see my screen in my slides in full now? Okay.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So this is, like I said earlier, the symptoms depends on what part of the body the blocked artery supplies. So let's look at coronary artery disease. And so just to break it down, the coronary artery supplies the heart. And so if this artery that supplies the heart gets blocked due to, like I said, due to plaques that consist of cholesterol, lipids, and calcium, this can then cause some medical conditions which we call myocardial ischemia. And just to break it down, myocardial just means the heart muscles, and ischemia just means there's cell death. And so the reason why there is cell death is because the parts of that heart is not getting oxygen, is not getting nutrients. And this is what presents as what we all know, heart attack or an angina. And it has been found that this is usually the very first clinical manifestation in both genders. And so you can just be very healthy, living your life. You don't know that your arteries are blocked until you then have an heart attack. And so these are the pictures shown. These are some of the symptoms that could point to an underlying cardiovascular event. So we have lightheadedness. So you feel very dizzy, you feel faint, shortness of breath. And so in the blood cycle, as the heart pumps blood, the lungs also helps to add oxygen to this blood, and then it gets distributed. And so once there is blockage of artery at any point, there's an overflow back to the lungs, and this can then present as shortness of breath. And like I said, the heart cells are dying, and so you could have stuff like chest pain and discomfort. This chest pain might then migrate to the back or to the jaw, and it's basically similar for both gender. Sorry, I'm trying to change the screen. Okay, so the next sign that signals a blocked artery is what we call cerebrovascular disease. And so just to break it down, you know, when we hear people say that someone is highly cerebral, you're actually talking about the brain. And then vascular just means vessels. And so this means that the blood vessels that supply the brain get blocked. And then when they get blocked, it can then result in conditions like stroke. And so the most common is the ischemic stroke. There is also the type of stroke where there is a burst of blood, and so there's like blood overall in the brain. But this blocked arteries causes the one we know as ischemic stroke. And then there's the minute stroke, which we call the transient ischemic attack. And so the symptoms can last as short as 10 seconds. And then all the symptoms, basically you recover fully. And then because it's very short and very fast, the recovery is very fast, you might not even know that is an underlying cardiovascular event. And so because stroke is the loss of brain function when blood supply is interrupted, it can cause permanent brain damage and death. And some of the symptoms that can be seen include slurred speech. And so when you are talking, you notice that it's different from the way you talked before. For facial drooping, you see that one side of your face tilts to the other side. then there is a differential weakness in one part of your body. And so that means that the strength in one side is higher than the strength in the other side. You might have difficulty in swallowing or speaking, and there might even be drooling of saliva when you speak. Aside that, you also have loss of balance or coordination, and so you cannot walk on a straight line. There could be loss of consciousness, headaches, and so these are all warning signs that, oh, your arteries could be blocked. And so as we go on, I'll let us know what are the things that we can do to avoid blocked arteries. So one other phenomenon that we've noticed with blocked artery is something we call the peripheral vascular disease. And so when we talk about peripheral vascular, peripheral just means like the extremities. So we're looking at your legs, we're looking at your hands, and then it has also been saying that when the artery supplying these parts of the body gets narrowed, cells and tissues are deprived of oxygen, and then blood flow is reduced. And in extreme cases, the limb can become infected and then might need to be amputated. And so what are the warning signs of this peripheral vascular disease? So you could have calf pain. And so the calf is just your leg. And so this pain can start as only when you do exercise or when you exert yourself. And then it can even then progress to become, even when you are just sitting down, you just have this constant pain in your calf. And so if the artery that is blocked is, let's say, an artery called the iliac artery. So this iliac artery supplies the buttocks, supplies the thigh. You might feel pain at that part of your body. It could also be symptoms like cold feet, numbness. And so, like I said, the blood carries nutrients, and some of these nutrients helps in toenail growth. So if the arteries get blocked, you might then notice that your nails are not growing, you have developed skin ulcers. And so another warning, and so another, sorry, please can we mute mic? There's some interference. Okay. And so one other sign is this very common and mostly undiagnosed condition, because people who get affected don't like to present to the hospital. So it's what we call erectile dysfunction. And so in erectile dysfunction, there is inability to get or sustain erection that is adequate for sexual satisfaction. And so really, the penis is made up of a soft, spongy, elastic tissue that fills with blood. And it's this fillage of blood that makes it become rigid. So really, there is no bone in the penis. It's just the blood supply that makes it rigid. And so the nerves send signals to the blood vessel. And so these signals are what we call hormones. And so erectile dysfunction, the causes are literally multifactorial. So you could have the nerves working, you could have the signal working, but then when it now gets to the blood vessel, there's the passageway that makes this penis become rigid is then blocked. And so we have what we call erectile dysfunction. So to the main reason why we are here today, how do we prevent blocked arteries? And so one of the things that we have to note is that this buildup of plaques takes decades. And what we can do now is to prevent further accumulation of plaques. One of research has showed that there's a 2 times increase in developing heart disease among smokers. And then it has also been saying that exposure, and so if you say, okay, you don't smoke, exposure to secondhand smoke, and so secondhand smoke means you are inhaling the smoke from people that smoke, can also cause heart disease in non-smokers. And so these chemicals, so the chemicals are things like tobacco, they damage the arteries. And then once the arteries are damaged, it then increases the formation of plaques. And it has also been shown that even if smoking even less than 5 cigarettes per day even increases your cardiovascular risk. And then people who then go on to quit smoking, the risk almost in 5 years' time, their risk is almost as those that do not smoke. And so one other thing that this tobacco does is it causes the blood to thicken and then form clots. And so imagine that there's a pipe and then there's a clot. So clot is like an accumulation of blood. And so one thing that can happen is that this clot can dislodge. And so we've heard of stories where they say someone traveled, the person was on a very long distance air flight for like 12 hours, the person was just sitting down, and then the person just stood up to walk across the aisle, and the next thing you know, the person just fell. And so one of the things is there could be clots in the legs. So let's assume the arteries in the legs are blocked. The clot can then dislodge and then go into the lungs. And at that phenomenon, we call it pulmonary embolism. If it goes to the brain, we call it, can also cause stroke. Can also be said that deaths from strokes are more likely among smokers than former smokers or non-smokers. And so this is why it's very important to not inhale secondhand smoke. And if we smoke, we should try and quit. And so one other thing that smoking has been likened to, and so there's a cardiovascular disease we call the abdominal aorta aneurysm. And so what this just means is that there's a bulge in the blood vessel. And so the aorta is the main artery that carries oxygen-rich blood throughout the body. And in that blood vessel, the aneurysm just means that there's a part of that vessel that is weakened. And at any point in time, that vessel can just rupture. And so imagine you have an abdominal aorta carrying about 2 to 3 liters of blood, and then suddenly it ruptures. There will be blood collection in the pelvic area. And at this stage, it's usually an ICU stage, really, because it's not something that you can manage even in open ward. And so what autopsies have shown is that in smokers, there has been early narrowing of the abdominal aorta. So as we go along, I will also talk about why this abdominal aorta is important and why it should be measured. And so one other thing that we can do to prevent blocked arteries is to eat healthy. If you look at this plate now, you'd see that half of this plate consists of vegetables and fruits. So it has been shown that vegetables and fruits have antioxidants, and these antioxidants prevent the buildup of further plaques. And so if you see, the more vegetables, the greater the variety, the better. If for fruits, just eat plenty of fruits of all colors. And so eating healthy also helps to control risk factors such as obesity. It helps to lower cholesterol level, and then it prevents the buildup of further plaques. So like I said before, there's the good cholesterol and there's the bad cholesterol. So when we increase our fiber intake, it reduces the bad cholesterol, which we call LDL. And so you want to make use of healthy oils like olive oil, canola oil for cooking. One other thing you want to do is you want to cut back on your sugar. And so it has been shown that sugar found in processed foods like biscuits, ice cream, they don't have the same nutritional value when you compare to sugar gotten from fruits. So that is why eating fruit can be a very good source of sugar. One other thing you want to do is to watch your salt intake. And so what the World Health Organization recommends a day is about 2,300 grams of sodium. And so these 2,300 grams of sodium can be found in a tablespoon of salt. And so that is the salt content we should be taking per day. And if you compare it to our present lifestyle, I'm very sure that there will be very large disparity. And so not just for blocked arteries, it has also been shown that high blood pressure has been linked to high salt intake. So when we watch our diet, this helps to reduce all the cardiovascular risk factors associated with blocked arteries. So one other thing we want to also do is to increase our physical activity. And so it has been shown that inactive people have almost double the risk of having a heart attack compared with those who are regularly physically active, and they're also less likely to develop a stroke. And so a study was done amongst women aged 45 and older who worked about 2 hours per week. And then it was shown, and it was seen that their risk of stroke reduced by a third compared with those that were less active. So regular physical activity also increases the good cholesterol, which is the HDL, and then it helps to prevent patches of arterioval. So this arterioval is the atherosclerosis I talked about earlier. So it helps to prevent further buildup of plaques. And not only does increasing your physical activity helps to reduce stroke and heart attack, it also helps you to maintain an ideal weight. And so if you look at the picture beside the slide, you see someone doing a body composition analysis. So what this body composition analysis checks, it checks your body mass index, which looks at both your height and your weight. It checks your visceral fat, your abdominal circumference, and then it gives you a target weight of what your weight should be. And so for a normal weight individual, you should aim for about 30 minutes of moderate physical activity, at least 5 times a week. At least 5 times a week. And so this 30 minutes doesn't have to be at a stretch. You can break it down in 15 minutes per day. And what do we mean by moderate physical activity? And so moderate physical activity are just activities that make you breathe a bit faster. When you engage in such, you notice that your heart beats a bit faster. And so it can be things like brisk walking, jogging, if you know how to swim, swimming, dancing, cycling. If you play tennis, that will also be beneficial. And so this body composition analysis gives you an idea of what your BMI is. And so you can classify the BMI into normal weight, underweight, overweight, and obese. And so in the obese category, you'd want to aim for more than 30 minutes. You'd even want to double to about 60 to 90 minutes of moderate physical activity, at least 5 times a week. And so one of the other things that would really help in reducing your risk of having a blocked artery is doing an annual health check. And so one of the things that Dr. Connect annual health check does is a cardiovascular ultrasound scan. So remember the picture I showed you of the artery, that there was plaque formation. This plaque formation can make the artery thicker than normal. And so one of the things we check is the thickness of the carotid artery and the diameter of the abdominal aorta. So remember I talked about abdominal aorta aneurysm earlier on, where there's a bulge in the artery and then it is closely linked with smoking. And so you want to also do an annual health check that screens you for the risk factors like high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high cholesterol level, and an ECG. And what an ECG does is an ECG can detect if they've had a previous MI. So MI just means an heart attack, or coupled with signs and symptoms, and then ECG findings could also detect if there's an ongoing myocardial infarction, which just means an heart attack. And so this is what the picture of the ECG looks like. I'm sure Dr. Aino has done that before, so she'll be able to elaborate further. And so this is just like a brief summary, a conclusion of this particular ECG result. And just to conclude what I've said earlier, one of the key ways we can reduce our cardiovascular risk, prevent blocked arteries, prevent stroke, prevent heart attack is to make the necessary lifestyle changes. And these lifestyle changes will help to prevent the further buildup of plaques. So you can book your annual wellness check through Green Mondays, and Dr. Aino will talk more about that. So thank you very much for having me today. I would hand over to Dr. Aino.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Ben Oko, for that very enlightening presentation. I know we've all heard, what she's talked about. Prevention indeed is better than cure. And I'll be talking about, just like she said at the end, we need to book our annual health check. Just like she said, I had my check at Dr. Connect, and it was quite revealing. So I'm going to share my screen so that I can elaborate. While I'm doing that, I would like to encourage, if we have any visitors, any guests in the house, please let us know you're here so that we can welcome you. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just a minute. Yeah, so like I said earlier, this presentation, this platform is brought to us courtesy Green Mondays. Green Mondays is an organization which is one of a conglomerate of 4 organizations. And in Green Mondays, we have a mission to inspire, connect, and empower you to achieve your dreams. But one thing is that to achieve our dreams, we need to be healthy. And so in Green Mondays, we promote health and wellness. And that is why we have these Wellness Wednesdays. And like today, Dr. Ben Oko is here from Dr. Connect to talk to us. Now, Dr. Connect is one of our is a partner, and we have some packages. So if you're a guest, or even if you're a member of Green Mondays, I'll be bringing up some of the packages we have where you can get value, even as a guest, even as a member of Green Mondays. There are different packages: basic, premium, premium plus, and premium extra, that we can take advantage of, purchase, and have these health checks. There are different benefits of each for each of the packages. You know, we have the basic one where you have unlimited access to a doctor's consult on the Dr. Connect app. You have online fitness, gym, you have medication, advice and prescription, electronic medical records. I mean, they're all here. And if you're a guest, please speak to the person who invited you. They can help you to come on board with any of these packages. These packages, not only do they give you access to Dr. Connect, where you can have your wellness check, they also give you some of our products from Green Mondays, which I'll be talking a little bit about shortly. So, and if you're a member of Green Mondays, if you have not had your annual check, please do so. They also give these packages, give you value as a member of Green Mondays. Some of them are upgrade packs. They give you points. They help you grow in your business. But most importantly, they give you access to prevention. You know, in Green Mondays, you know, we are in the health space, and we believe in collaborating with medical practitioners. You know, there are 3 philosophies that surround health management, which are nutrition, prevention, and intervention. And I know that if we look at nutrition, Dr. Oko told us about what we should be eating, what the portions of each of the groups of food are. And I wonder how many of us are actually keeping exactly to that, you know. But we can, apart from following those guidelines on our nutrition, checking ourselves and having those medical checks can pick up anything that's going to happen or that's about to happen early, so that we can do the needful to prevent those health conditions. And even if we get, to prevent us getting to the stage of intervention. And so that is why our contribution is to provide this access to Dr. Connect, where you can have your health checks. Now, regarding Green Mondays, the Green Mondays, we have a range of products. This group of companies have come together to give value in the health space. We have heard about the health conditions, how they present. You know, they don't start in a day. And one of the causes of these health conditions is a phenomenon called oxidative stress. You know, we have released from our bodies during our normal processes, digestion, respiration, and all of them. We have what we call free radicals, and these are unstable molecules that go into they're unstable, and in finding stability, they go into our cells. They can destroy the cell, they can alter the function of the cells, and they can actually kill the cells. And we don't see when this is happening, but we also have antidotes that are produced in the body called antioxidants. I know Dr. Ben Oko also talked about antioxidants, fruits and vegetables that have antioxidants. But we have all these these environmental conditions that, and even personal lifestyle situations that increase the production of free radicals. And, you know, these are diets, just like she had talked about, pollutants, pesticides. I mean, if we look at everything on this slide, we can see that most of us are probably exposed to at least one or two of them. And so these, when the free radicals in our body are more than the natural antioxidants can counter, we have a resultant effect called oxidative stress. And depending on which organ or which system of the body that this oxidative stress plays out, we have different health conditions. You know, research has shown that at the root of many of these health conditions is free radical oxidative stress. So for instance, in the heart, we have chronic heart disease, we have hypertension. In the if it's multi-organ, we have diabetes, aging. If it's the immune system, we have chronic inflammatory disorders, autoimmune disorders. In the brain, we have Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease. In the lungs, asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, diseases, rheumatoid arthritis, and so on. And in addition to all the lifestyle modifications that we have heard about today, our company has brought to us a range of products that have strong antioxidant properties. We have the Reader range of products that are safe, qualitative, and effective in countering the effects of oxidative stress. And these products are made by our sister company, Marvel Natural Products PLC. And they are made from herbs that are grown in West Africa, carefully selected, researched, and put together in a range of products. Now, these were not just put together anyhow. A team of scientists put them together after some research. And the company has gone to great lengths to get the appropriate certification. So we have, for Nigeria, we have the NAFDAC certification, NAFDAC approval. For the US, we have the FDA approval for our products to be sold in the US. We have the ISO certification. ISO is a global standards organization. So it's like a company opening themselves up to be audited by a global standard organization. Then we have the halal certification for the Middle Eastern countries. Then we have the products went through preclinical trials, and last year went through clinical trials. And the results of the clinical trials are in the Cochrane database in South Africa. And those clinical trials came out showing that indeed our products support the management of some of these conditions like hypertension, diabetes, and arthritis. And so we have these products, there are a range of them with personal care and personal hygiene products, which help us to live healthy, help to support the management of our health when we do have these health conditions. And so we have so many of them. We have the flagship product, which is Reader Herbal Bitters, and the capsules. We have the cleanser for which detoxes. We have the balm, which is a topical analgesic. We have the fire. It improves libido. It helps with male reproductive health. The restore is for women, helps improve the reproductive health, improves libido, restores the hormonal balance. We have the fat burner, which is, it helps support weight control. You know, it speeds up metabolism, but it also is said to, it helps with cholesterol. Now, the company has put together combos of, we call them solution packs, that help the management of these conditions. So there are some of these products combined, and the doses and usage is specified for each health condition. You know, today we've talked about some of the conditions that lead to stroke, and you know, these, we have the female lifestyle diabetic pack, the female diabetic lifestyle pack. We have the male version of it. We have the female hypertension lifestyle pack. We have the male lifestyle hypertension pack. We have so many other solution packs that help in the management of any condition, and even to prevent, you know, when you are presumed healthy. I know I say presumed healthy because sometimes we feel healthy, does not mean we're actually healthy. We will know when we do a health check and we know that everything is all right. So we have these valuable, amazing products that have elicited so many positive feedbacks and testimonials. Now, that's not all. Our product, I mean, our company, we promote wellness. We promote health, good health, prevention, and even supporting the management. But the company does not want us to just be healthy. The company wants us to be wealthy as well. And as such, any of these packs that we buy, including the ones we talked about here, the ones that give you access to Doctor Connect, bring you on board a system and plug you into a system whereby you connect with people you already know. As you share the wellness, as you share the wealth, it puts you in a system that can generate for you great wealth down the line. Now, what this entails is that you plug in and position yourself. You know, there are different ways in which you can plug in. Some are the ones I showed you earlier. Through those Doctor Connect packs, you get your health checked and you plug into this system. Through the solution packs, you buy a solution pack, you get plugged in. But even if you don't buy any of those ones, you can actually get plugged in by buying any of our registration packs. Now, the ideal option is the solution, the VIP solution pack, which we have actually 6 other ways in which you can plug in. There's a VIP, which is 750,000 naira. There's the platinum, 400,000 naira, and you get products that are more than what you paid. The gold, 140,000 naira, silver, 75,000 naira, and bronze, 40,000 naira. But we have another level that we call your level. And that means that if any of these packs we've talked about, we've shown you, are not ideal for you, there's a level called your level. And if you're a guest here, you can also talk with the person who invited you to this platform to discuss how you can get in at your level. But really, the value you get from these well-being packs, they are amazing, and the value you get from all of them. Now, what happens? In brief, what happens is that as you come on board with any of these packs, you share this health and wealth with family and friends. They also come on board and they join you. You build a network of people you're already connected to. So you're basically, we are all connected to each other in interesting ways. And so when you connect the people you're already connected to this health opportunity, this wealth opportunity, it gives you value. And the value it gives you, if you look at this table, you know, it's down the line. If you build in a systematic way in which you will be taught, it can bring you so much value. I mean, you can earn billions of naira, multi-millions of dollars over time by just coming on board, spreading the health, spreading the wealth, and collaborating with us, partnering with us to take these health products to the world, because these are from Nigeria to the world. Now, I thank you, Dr. Ben Oko, once again. Let's celebrate Dr. Ben Oko in the chat box. Let's celebrate her. Thank her for the presentation, and thank you all for being here. I still have not seen. Have I seen any of our guests? Okay, I've not seen any of our guests. Oh, do we need to mute somebody? Just a minute. I think somebody needs to be muted. Okay, that's done. Thank you. So, well, what I'm going to close out with is that, okay, somebody is raising their hand. Okay, are you a guest? Esther.
Yes, I am.
Okay, you're a guest? Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have a question?
Hello?
Hello?
No, exactly. I just indicated.
Oh, thank you very much, Esther. You're warmly welcome to this platform. And please speak to the person who invited you to be able to connect you to how you will partake of these amazing opportunities. Somebody called TechnoSpark is also raising their hand. Are you a guest also? If you're a guest, you're warmly welcome. Now, you know, our health, your health is an investment, not an expense. It becomes an expense if you do not invest in it. Today, we've heard so much about how we can check ourselves. We've heard about what we can do. You know, there's some things we cannot change, we cannot modify, but there's certain aspects of our life that we can modify. The food we eat, the exercise we do, the checks we have, so that we can pick up anything that is coming very early. And also using the reader range of product. Like I said, it's an investment. If you're here, if you're a guest, please invest in your health so that it does not become an expense. Thank you all very much. I see somebody else's hand raised. Ibekwe, are you a guest? We warmly welcome you. Thank you for coming. I hope you've learned something. Okay, I have 1 or 2 minutes.